Welcome to the studio, Anna Banana.
Hi.
How you doing,
I'm
cuz?
doing great. How are you?
Cousin, I'm fine. Cousin doesn't really seem to do justice to who we are to one another. Soulmate, family,
Roommates.
roommates, that's less
No,
meaningful
we
than
were,
cousin.
listen, we were, I think we were, what is it called? Thicker than thieves? Two peas in a
Yeah,
pod?
two thieves in a pod.
No, two peas in a
Oh,
pod.
that makes more sense.
Peas.
Yeah, yeah. Our relationship is kind of like, I feel like for each of us, um, actually, it's like the opposite of what they say. Like when you're drowning and someone comes to save you, but like they kind of push you down
That's
with,
you.
and
Oh,
stop it. I was gonna say we're the opposite.
oh,
When we're together, we're both trying to lift each other up. Now, if you want to get into it, my lifting you up sometimes does feel like taking you down just
ooh,
because
it
insults are our
hurts.
love language.
I mean, yeah, yeah,
Insults
yeah.
are our love
I've been bullied
language.
my whole life, so this is just your way of loving me, and I appreciate it.
Don't believe her. She's not she gives it as good as she gets. Okay. She gives it as good as she gets. So for the
Mm.
Brown Ambition audience, why do I have Anna on the show? I'm going to do a live I want to do a live career coaching session with Anna. But first, I want to give some backstory. So Anna is 10 years younger than me. We ain't gonna give ages, but she's in her mid 20s, which means you know what I am. Anyway, I used to babysit Anna when she was just a little 12-year-old peanut in my pocket. And now, well, a decade later, it was the pandemic, right? I
Hmm.
was obviously struggling. I had a baby, a newborn, and I was trying to like balance that with working. Couldn't have childcare because everything seemed too dangerous. So I was like breastfeeding, having the baby at home
So I was living back home and
in
I
Georgia.
in Georgia, and I was just having like the worst mental everything. Nothing was working. I was just
Hmm.
not happy. I was very like I was just like a mess. And then Mandy just called me out of the blue. No, not out of the
Well, we
blue.
used to have like a standing
We
Thursday
every
appointment
Thursday
because I was worried about
she was
you. I was
so
like,
yeah, you were worried
and
about
I'm a
me,
control freak.
and I just hate it whenever like someone has to worry about me because I'm like, damn, am I that fragile? But you know, your love really did show through. And I told you the get
Yeah.
down, the ups and the downs, more downs than
Hmm.
ups. And then I think we both asked ourselves the same questions. Like you were trying to
I,
warm me up to the idea of moving. And
I remember this
I need to get
conversation.
out of this state. I need to leave. And then it just happened where we're like, okay, we're going to do this. And then I said,
It
when
was so it was so funny because it was
I felt like I
around
was
because
plotting on you, but you were plotting on me.
no, I was plotting on you. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
was trying
yeah.
to
We were
warm you
both
up.
like
I don't know because you have a husband and a
you were
baby, and
like,
I
please
wasn't trying
adopt
to,
me.
huh?
You were like, please adopt me. Well, you were living with one of our what with your auntie on your mom's side, so not my auntie. Anyway, and you were I remember forget this phone call when you
Please don't
called me and you're
embarrass you
like,
right now. I can't.
oh shit, you're 22, so you're doing a lot of 20. You were at the time anyway,
I was
right? 22, 23.
22. Yeah, 22.
Okay. But at the time you were like doing what, DoorDash? You had
I
tried
was doing Instacart. I was working at
Instacart, yeah.
Amazon. I
Oh, the
was
home goods warehouse.
home good. Oh my god, I was working. I was
She
working
would. But you
hard.
ain't never not worked. You know what I mean?
I'm a
You ain't never
working
not
girl.
worked.
I'm a
Yeah,
working girl. I work for my
Starbucks barista.
yeah. I was all of that.
Um, okay, but at this time, I remember when I was already worried about you because I could tell when I was talking to you that you were struggling. That's why I was like, I think in the spring before, I was like, we're going to talk every Thursday at 9 p.m. Put it on the calendar. We're
Yeah.
doing it, and then
Hmm.
we did. Um, anyway, and I just wanted to like keep, I couldn't see you, so I just wanted to like at least talk to you so I could be sure that you're okay because ever since that time when I lived with y'all when I was just starting out. I got a
Oh
job
yeah, I
near y'all.
remember.
Uncle Royce let me
Can
move
I talk
in,
about
and
it?
no, 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 we ain't got time. So anyway, we
It was a
we
great
only have
time.
time
That's
for
all I'll
me
say.
to roast you.
Okay, sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
but ever since I fell in love with you and with Ariel and RJ and all that. But I mean, like really fell in love. Like, oh, this is my bonus
Family.
sister. Yeah,
Yeah,
but you're not always so close with cousins. Anyhow,
yeah.
so we had this connection. I could tell when you were off. And so we met all summer long, and then this in the fall, you were like, I'm gonna join this. What were you gonna sell? Kitchen knives?
No.
I was like, it's okay. I got a job. I'm gonna start my own business. I'm gonna sell knives.
Yeah, it was a
And I said,
scam. It was a scam.
it was an MLM. It was a multi-level marketing. It was like one of those pyramid scheme type
Ugh.
things, which
There were
people will
so
probably,
many that were hitting me up. There was
girl, you were the
Monet.
prime candidate.
I was gullible.
You want to make money overnight? You want to
Yes.
own your own work hours?
Yep.
You want to work from home? You know, you're like, yeah, yeah. You a hot mess and you want some back. So, yeah. So they got you, and thank God you told me, because I was like, right now we need to like.
I felt like I was
press
in
pause.
trouble. She's like, absolutely not. And I was like,
Absolutely
okay.
not. So, because you were going to buy like a bunch of knives,
It just
and have
didn't
them
make sense. And like
sitting in your house,
the
in your
interview,
aunt's house.
I was doing the interview like on my little tiny desk with like 15 other people, and I was like, what is this? And then
Yeah.
it
was
a hotmess.com.
So we had this conversation, and I was like, yeah, I'm really struggling with this. And I already was scheming. I'm like, wouldn't it be perfect if Anna just could be here? Like here, I could keep an eye on her, because because I'm working on this too. I want to like protect and fix everybody. I don't have to do that. But at that time I was like, I can keep an eye on her because I'm really worried about her. And also I think she would really enjoy watching my child for me so that I could start my new job. And we had the conversation, and I was like, I was like, I feel like what you really need is like, you'd be great helping a family who just, was working really hard and just had trouble finding childcare during the pandemic.
Sure.
And like, and you were like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And I said, do you know anybody like that you can think of? And your little voice, well, like you, I'm like, yeah, thank you for offering. You know what? That would be a great
That
idea.
was the funniest conversation. I was like, I was plotting on you. I was like, oh, how's your upstairs bedroom looking like? It's vacant.
It saved both of our lives. No, for real, right?
It did, for sure.
Yeah. So cut to, and when you moved in, of course, again, because I have a bit of a like fixer personality, and you were not finished with like college, your degree, no job and all that. So I was like, also, while you were here, let's have some personal finance conversations. Let's, really untangle you from Daddy, Uncle Roy. Yeah. So Anna's, you talk a little bit about that, where you were in terms of like,
with my,
you were 20. Yeah. You were like 23, but also you were like with your relationship with your father,
I think,
not feeling financially free, right?
Yeah. Like I just grew up of, he hands me money and then I deal with it. So whenever I had like my financial struggles, he would always have like a string attached to whatever dollar is behind it. So I was just very exhausted and tired trying to chase what he's giving me. And then I have to, this mental load that I have to pay him for the price of whatever amount of dollars. And I remember when I moved to you, he cut me off financially and disowned me and all this extra stuff. So my mental health was down the street. It was terrible. And
can you be a little specific when you say you had to pay him for the money? Like, what were the strings attached?
It would just be his controlling ways when it comes to finances. Like if I maybe had an attitude, he was like, well, I do XYZ for you and you're going to do this to me after I gave you this amount of money for school. Or just being his daughter, just asking for money here and there. It's always like a issue or problem. So that's whenever I wanted to stop asking him for money completely. So that's why I was working those numerous jobs just to get myself together. And then, my mental health is just taking a toll for, all the finances that I had to deal with that with him and myself. Cause I'm a little pricey, I noticed.
Cause you was spoiled for a price.
Yeah.
And also it was to the point where it was like, I'll pay for school, but you got to study what I think is a good degree.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, totally. Like,
so that level of control.
Yeah. And then the thing about me, I don't do well with control like that. Like I'll just stop everything if I don't I just don't feel like you should live your life for your parent. And I learned that the hard way.
What do you think are the biggest changes that have happened since you moved in with me? For those who are watching on YouTube, you might be able to note the most significant change. We're not in the same place.
No, we're not.
Why?
I was able to move out. I have a lovely roommate. She's great. But
Yeah.
it was just so nice to buy things with money that I worked hard for and earned. And I just feel like the hard work really did pay off. And, you know, I appreciate you. And
You're skipping over the hard work. What have you accomplished? Let's sit with it, girl.
what
What
are we
have you
talking?
accomplished?
Okay, I'm skimming over.
Yeah.
Definitely my mental health for sure. I received so much healing from the past like year, 2 years, almost three.
Almost three.
Almost
Yeah,
three.
basically 3 years.
Almost a big three.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen a huge turnout from my mental health about, you know, how I feel about myself, boundaries. That was a huge thing that I had to develop. I didn't have any, like, especially with my parents, whatever they said when, I didn't care. Like, they didn't care if I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't care if I didn't feel comfortable. I just did what I was told. So whenever I was disowned, I was just like, all right, if I'm really disowned, I'm gonna do what I please. And, you know,
Well, it
in a
took you a while
respectful
to
way.
get there.
It took me a long minute.
You was devastated.
I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
And then, you know, therapy and
But you know what? But listen, for those who are, but did he actually?
No.
It was a control.
It lasted 3 months. And then he said,
Yeah.
how are you doing? I was like, I was so confused.
You called his bluff.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, try to survive without this cute face.
Yeah.
This incredible daughter that you have.
This annoying daughter you got. Can never get rid of me.
It.
So, you know, so after the 3 months, he reached out again. And, you know, I kept it at an arm's distance. I didn't fully trust him because I think that's so heartbreaking to say to your child that you disown them because they're trying to live their life for them. But creating boundaries.
We got you off the phone plan. We got you.
I got off of everything.
You didn't need a car anymore. He owned the car.
As soon as I moved here, he sold my car. And I was like, that's fine. I don't need it. And then he was more upset that I didn't care. I was like, okay, that's fine. And
he had a tantrum.
He did.
That was what that was, a tantrum. So then let's move into the career and finance side. What kind of like strides have you made? Because you came here, no full-time job, no job, period. Thank goodness, not the knives thing. And no money of your own. So like, when did you start taking those strides? What are the big accomplishments you've made?
I think at that time, whenever I was helping you out with, you know, your lovely son, my godson, I was really ready to just start working again, to make money for myself, to move out, to save, to, you know, spend things on myself, to give back to you guys with whatever is needed, you know. And then I found a job doing executive assisting work for this unknown fashion and jewelry company that was the worst.
Let's touch on that later. But you needed a non-part-time, like a retail job. You wanted I
wanted full-time. I wanted to hit the ground running, but
you also were like, what's your degree in?
Healthcare administration. Healthcare administration.
So we got you a LinkedIn page, right? Remember that?
Yes.
I'm trying to tell y'all, Anna is a boomer in a Generation Z
body.
suit.
I don't know.
You unzip her, and it's just like, here's your AARP card. Here's your handicap sign.
I grew up sheltered, so I was like, what is this? Like, she's more Gen Z than me. I just know the terms, but she knows like the logistics. She knows the, you know, technology.
All right. So you got a LinkedIn page. I was like, you need a presence. So we put some job experience there.
Yeah.
We said that you were my assistant. Don't ever ask me for a reference because
too late to you want all of them.
You weren't the best. You weren't the.
I was dealing with so much mental stuff.
I was like, yeah, be my assistant. She's like,
I was just so media? Overwhelmed, and I was like, I did not. You said
what's
Slack.
That,
I said, what is Slack? And
she didn't know nothing, y'all. She couldn't be my IG
I didn't
manager.
Know Slack. I know. I know.
You could barely do my email. She said, what is Slack? I was like, so just you focus on the babies. I'll give you the title, my admin. Anyway, but you got a job assisting. And then but that point is you had something on your resume. And then from there, And you started to save the
Yeah.
money you were earning from that job that you didn't love, right?
Hmm.
Then you got the job you did like a lot more.
Hmm.
Well, we quit actually. That job was so toxic that you quit,
It was,
right?
yeah, it was so. Me and my roommate, we worked at the same job before, and then she quit a little bit before me. It was just such a toxic work environment. Nothing was getting done. And I was like, I want to put my efforts into something else that would appreciate me. So, when I quit, I shouldn't have done that. That was not smart. Um, but I
Why do you
did
say that?
because I didn't have a job for like maybe a month. When I tell you I was applying to like A to Z jobs, more like to the day I woke up to like at night. I was applying,
Mm-hmm.
interviews were happening, but they weren't good enough or it wasn't a right fit. And then my
Mm-hmm.
current job,
You were getting the scam kind of like LinkedIn messages
yes. And
that
I
I
was
hear
like,
from
why do
clients,
people
like,
do that? I was
like,
like, people are
and
like struggling.
you were going all the way to Manhattan to find out it was like, what was the thing where they sent you home with a big textbook, like a real estate textbook? They
I
wanted you to.
honestly wanted to forget that happened.
I'm
And for
sorry.
you to bring that up is very triggering for me.
I'm so sorry, but you went through it. And honestly, a month
Yeah.
doesn't seem that. But I'm interested. You said it was a bad idea to quit.
Yes, it was.
Um, at the time, I'm not going to lie, I was a little worried. I'm like,
Yes, you were.
but I was trying to let you do your own thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And honestly, I don't think it was a mistake because a couple months later, you got the job in the spa,
Hmm.
right? And you just found that on LinkedIn, is that right? Or Indeed
I
or
found them
something?
on Indeed and it looked sketchy applying for it, but I was like, you know what? Everything's
Because
sketchy.
it wasn't
Yes,
it hadn't opened yet. It was a
it was,
new
it was a brick.
business.
It was being built as I was
Mhm.
applying. So whenever I got the job interview, OV, and I was like, oh, can I see the spot? It was like construction walls. There was wood exposed. And they said, yeah,
Mhm.
this is it. I said, I see the potential. And I think after the interview, it went well. And then you told me to write a letter to, show my appreciation. And
Oh,
at
I
first,
forgot I did.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
said I
was,
forgot I did. I remember now I remember I dropped you off to give them the thank you note.
yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And I think it was like a nice little card. It was yellow. It was like a yellow flower. Yellow's your brand, I see.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I got the call that I got the job, and I was so ecstatic. When I tell you I was struggling financially, I was living off my savings. Like I think one time I
Yeah.
didn't have enough for toothpaste if I didn't want to go into my.
I think I started to ask you to pay rent
You
because I
did,
was just trying to get you a little ready for the real world. I was going to do that thing where you just put the money aside and then give it back to you at
yeah.
the end, But that's when you quit. And I was like, oh, so the
She
rent
really
paid
got to
half.
stop. But no, I felt like such a loser because I was like, why would I do that without like a plan B? And I
Mm,
was just like, I was so scared and so like mm, eager to know like what's next, what's the next move, like what can we do? And then
mhm.
I got the call, I got the job, and I was like, all right, I can relax a little bit more. And then I think,
Well,
mm,
we're going to take a quick break. But before we do, I want to just kind of like round out that phase because I feel like for you, it was about, listen, your dad chose your major, right?
mhm,
Healthcare admin, which isn't a bad major. I think it's obviously a hot field.
it's on the come up. Hmm.
It's on the come up, and you still kept up like with your studies virtually, while you were working full time. But at the same time, you knew you didn't want to like work in a hospital, like just like at a desk, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But you did have this interest in beauty and care, which I feel like is something that, you go to a controlling dad and you're like, hey, I want to work in the spa beauty industry. And he's like, what is that? It's woman stuff. It can't be good. It can't be lucrative, please.
Do you?
But it was like whenever I'm helping someone and coaching them through like a pivot or trying to figure out how do I make a career that I love out of like the job history that I have, which I don't love. And it's like not exactly like there's not like a lateral, like a connection.
Mhm.
But for you, there's enough there. Like, the admin side in healthcare and spas, med spas, especially, it's not that different. People aren't using insurance because shit
Mm-mm.
costs for the most part.
No copay.
Um, right. But, and it like, it worked for you. It has been working for you, but okay, I'm going to leave it there. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to come back because I want to talk about what's next for you. because you
Okay.
at the next level.
Thank
Okay,
you.
baby.
All right.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay, VA fam, we are back, and my cousin Anna Victoria Woodruff. Anna Victoria, put your whole name out there.
Why would you do
Is
that?
here, is here, and I'm grilling her. I'm chatting with her about her career and what's next for her. Okay, so we're at this point now where you are. It's been a few years since you've been living here. You moved into a. We didn't even talk about your apartment. Look at the couch. Look at the style.
It's
It's so cute.
I could I do a little tour? Is it too much?
I don't want you to move your camera because it took a lot for us to get you in
I
the
know it
frame
was a
that we.
pain in the neck. I'm so sorry, but
But
it's
it's
so cute. I swear, like everyone loves it when they see it.
so you've been in this job for over a year now, and obviously it's a stepping stone. Like you're kind of like front of house in the med spa space, work interfacing with customers, and all of that. But like, so what do you want for yourself now that we have like this ember,
Mm,
this like if you can imagine like building a fire. You've struck this ember now, and your job, like your career, is starting to kindle. It's starting to smoke. We got a little bit of a flame.
yeah.
Now it's about how can we keep building that flame. And even though you have a job now, you're happy there. It's great. It's great. I'm always talking to women about never getting too comfortable and always sort of keeping your eye on the next opportunity and what that's going to look like for you. So talk to me a little bit. Forget I'm your cousin and more of like a
Okay.
coach. What do you want next?
I think no. I want to move up in the spa space. I realize I
Mhm.
like to do the operations side of it. I'm great speaking to people, but I have more fun or I find more enjoyment doing like the operation side. So it's like the
Mhm.
ordering, getting things done. There's conflict with schedule. There's conflict with the guests, maybe. I'm very good at that. Very strategic, managing people. I really do find enjoyment with that. And I feel like the people that I do work with, they feel confident or comfortable enough with me to tell me their issues and we can address it,
Mm.
as need to be. Um,
So together, one of the things we did do that my first thing was when you came, you actually, that's the reason you're here is because you came over. What was it last week, week before?
it was last week.
And I was like, let's just, on your day off, let's get together. Let's sit down and talk about what's next. And the first thing you wanted to do was your resume, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hold up. Before we do the resume, it's really important to know what you want so you can tailor your resume,
Mm-hmm.
to the job. And I feel like we spent that afternoon on LinkedIn stalking people in the spa industry
Mm-hmm.
and trying to figure out what are some job titles that sound juicy, even if they're like a few levels beyond what you could be doing now, just like have like a finish line or have something that you can work toward.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot about the types of jobs like director of operations, spa manager,
Spa director.
spa director.
I think those are like the main three that I found, but there's like a lot of spa owners, obviously. Um,
Oh, did you ever hear back? I think you sent some DMs like cold
yeah,
to
I
some
did.
people.
I think a few, not messaged me, but they followed me back, or what do they call it? They were
Connected with you?
connected, connected, LinkedIn connected. That makes sense.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm going to your profile. I had to twist your arm to get a photo on there.
Because I hate that photo.
It's such a gorgeous photo, y'all. Go connect with
No,
Anna.
no,
Anna Victoria Woodruff on LinkedIn. If you're in the spa industry, med spa, and listening, gone in there. She only has 22 connections, y'all. She's
why
lonely,
you
but
call
she's
me
so
out like that?
pretty. Because you're so pretty in this picture. I can't stand it. I took it.
You
I
did.
told her she had 2 years to take a better one. I took this headshot back in 2021. I said, you had 3 years to pick a better headshot and you don't have one. So you know what you're going to do?
I'm stuck with it.
Upload image, upload. And when you get a better one, you can fix it. But done is better than perfect. Okay.
Done is better
So
than
what?
perfect. Okay.
And if people are listening, I'm like, pictures, but I thought pictures were bad, especially if you're a woman of color. People can have bias against you. But I do believe in having a photo on LinkedIn as a hiring manager. I just feel like it's a well-rounded image. And let's keep it 100, Anna. You're going to be in the beauty and med spa space. Show you're cute. Like, I don't care how like unpolitically correct it is or politically incorrect it is to talk about the impact of like your look and your presentation, it really matters. And I think that people who are reviewing LinkedIn profiles, I'm not saying put it on your resume, I'm not all about that, but at least for LinkedIn, like show that, you know, you are well presented, that you present yourself well, because I do believe in your industry, it's a bit of that image is probably going to matter. Let's keep it 100. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, it's correct. You're correct. Mm-hmm.
You don't have to just say I'm correct.
No, I mean, it's 100% true. Like, if you're working or you are coming into a spa and you want to look a certain way, wouldn't you want the staff to look, you know, put together? They look like they take care of themselves. That's just what it is.
Yeah. And you be doing your crystals in your boobs, and where you be putting those crystals, all kinds of crevices and
the belly button. It's
you know, when she used to live here, it'd just be packages of rocks.
You guys would just call it rocks. I was like, they're crystals.
Like, here's another envelope of rocks for you, Anna.
Listen,
you're like, ooh, shove it in your bra.
It was part of my healing journey, and I still have them.
I hope you do.
They're
charging in the moonlight.
They're charging. Why are you saying that? I always
Did you have to drink moon water one time? She drank moon water. It's a full moon. Put some water on the deck.
Oh my god! Yeah, and it was delicious. It was very refreshing the next day.
I bet it tasted so lunar. Okay. So on your LinkedIn, okay, we got you a photo. You have your experience on there. You started to connect with people, which is great. You need to be connected. And this is my advice for anyone listening too. Even if you, and right now, Anna, you only know the people who work where you work, right? Mm-hmm. But the industry is so big. I'm like, how can you get connected to more people in your space? So the work that we did that day, it may feel like not that big of a deal, but even if someone sees your name on LinkedIn, even if they don't connect with you, even if they, well, maybe they don't, but even if they don't respond to your DM, but they do connect to you or follow you or whatever, you're going to show up in their feed. Mm-hmm. And I've learned you're going to show up in their feed a lot for 2 weeks after they connect with you. So once you start adding people, like I would say, sharing something on LinkedIn. It doesn't have to be like, here are my thoughts on the med spa space, but share an article about the industry, share an article that you find interesting, or follow like thought leaders in your space. There's gotta be like I know there's so many like influencers, but also there's probably some great names in the business of the med spa industry that you could be following so that you can really like, I want you to be nerdy. I want you to be like in on the med spa space. I want you to be passionate about it. That is what's going to give you that extra something special when you go into an interview. If you show up and you're just like, here's my experience. I'm very happy to meet you.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a great resume. This job market, it's tough. And it's tough in the sense that for me, it's normal. Like, this is how a job market, I feel like, should be. It was cray-cray back in 2021. Everyone was hiring, right? Mm-hmm. And you could get a job like that. But now it's more like corrected in the sense that there are good jobs out there, but there's also a lot of good candidates.
The competition is insane. Like, exactly. On LinkedIn, I think for certain jobs I saw, there was like 332 applications for that one job. And I was just like, it's just brutal. It's like the dating pool. Mm-hmm.
And this is where you start to differentiate yourself with strategy. So one thing is, when you see hundreds of people have applied, you can add your resume to the mix. But if you're not like a shoe-in, like a perfect resume, perfect candidate, like for the role and you really want it, I feel like less is more when it comes to applying right now. Like, really center in or home in on jobs that you want, jobs that are good, not just any old job.
Right.
And that may mean waiting longer to find the job. You're not so senior, like you're entry level right now. And the next step up for you, we're hoping to get you on a path to like maybe assistant spa manager, or at a startup spa, maybe straight to spa manager or whatever, but somewhere on the back office.
Back office. Right? Mm-hmm.
The ops side. But, those types of roles are fewer and further between, and because they're juicier, right? They probably pay more. You want a salary and all that. Like, they're going to have more competition. Right. So that's why I'm like, last week when you were here, I was impressed because you knew some names of other spas. in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And that, but I want more. I think you should really like get more into the industry. What could that look like? What are some ways you could start investing more and learning about the med spa space and getting in networking opportunities so you can meet other people in that space?
There's a lot of spa conventions. There's a lot of
Who are they in New York?
yeah. There's so plenty.
There's got to be.
There's plenty in the city.
Well, which one are you going to go to?
I forgot the name of it. It's like I think it's French, but the Biologique Rochers they have.
How do you say that?
It's French, so it's like
No,
Biologique Rocher, but I call it BR. BR.
Hey, I took
Biologique
5 years of French.
I did 4.
Parlez-vous français? Biologique Recherche.
Yes, very
Biologique.
nice.
That's a fancy brand. I've gotten the free samples whenever I come to your spa.
Yes. So that's a brand. They have a lot of conventions or just trainings, and then you can.
Oh, that's smart.
Mm-hmm. So they have trainings like that, and then they come to the spa. But like, there's a lot in the city. There's so many. The beauty field or space in New York City alone is like it's huge. So just going there and meeting people, I think that's the next step that I want to take because I want to take this seriously. Like I found my niche and something that I really enjoy and love. I talk about it all the time, you know, because I'm passionate about beauty, not towards myself, but other people. I feel like everyone's supposed to feel themselves.
And it's not just beauty, self-care, right?
Self-care, for sure.
I don't ever get facials. I go for the deep tissue massage for the sauna. You know what I mean? That like
your shoulders.
The relaxation. The relaxation room / nap room where you bring me blankets.
I think you're the only one that sleeps in there, but I let you.
I love taking naps. Okay. So that's exciting for me too, because you mentioned a brand that's not a spa. You mentioned one of the brands that sells their products in spas, which I think is so smart. A lot of times when I'm talking to coaching clients and they are so literal, like I work in the auto industry, so I should look at other auto companies. I'm like, but if you're in sales or you're in project management and you're working with other clients and stuff, what are some of the clients that you're working with, you know, in your space? And could they have opportunities, you know, for you, like maybe Biologique Recherche, you know, is just one of the brands you work for, but you have that. It's great because you have a connection to them, even if you may not have the experience or the exact, you know, bullet point list of like skills that they're looking for in a job listing. You can always say, I work in this amazing spa. We sell your products and you know them really well. And that I feel like is going to immediately kind of give you a little bit of a bump in an interview process if you can find that connection, you know, with the brand itself.
I see it. I totally agree.
What other brands could you look at? We have Biologique Recherche. What else y'all sell there?
We sell Yonka. It's another French company that we have. I won't say too much about them.
Okay. What's the yellow one that I always use? Like the clear
Supergoop.
Supergoop. Is that a Gwyneth Paltrow thing, or is that separate?
I think she just has Goop.
Okay, gotcha. This is Supergoop.
Supergoop. Okay. It's like sunscreen, body care. And what else we got? We have like Yonka for men, but I personally use Biologique Recherche on my skin. So that's why
I think they make the toner that I used, P Lotion 50 or something like that.
Yeah, Lotion P50. Yeah.
It hurts so good. Okay. All right. So, but here's one thing that I do on my coaching calls. I will sit here and watch you until you do a thing. So I just literally Googled med spa events, New York, and there's a whole list. March 3rd, there's the International Aesthetics, Cosmetics, and Spa Conference in New York. How do you feel about that?
That sounds really good. What did you Google?
Here, I emailed you the link just now. I Googled med spa trade show, New York. And so now I'm going to go to and there's not the only one. There's like an open house. There's a blueprint for success in aesthetics. I think some of these will probably target people who want to work as an esthetician, but you want to focus on where are some opportunities to be in a room with the ops people who are like on the business side of spa. I really feel like that's going to help set you apart. Because I think in like the cosmetics and med spas kind of space, I think people think first of the worker bees
Mm-hmm.
who are doing the services and all that. That's fine, but there's not much room for growth there unless you're really spectacular at your job. You bring in your own clientele. You become valuable that way.
Mm-hmm.
In your space, you need to sort of you have more of a career trajectory, but you need people who can, I think, mentor you, show you the ropes, challenge you, get you into a job where it feels like big shoes for you to fill.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you start to learn and grow.
I'm gonna save that event.
No, we're not going to save it. You're going to register. And you're going to ask your job to pay for it. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
I'm a little bossy. But yeah, so this is a type of event that I feel like your job should pay for. Your job's a big brand. They got money. I think you should make your case like, hey, I really want to get some new ideas for the spa. I want to get some ideas for, and just you can show them the website. You can make a little, write an email and just make a case for why they should cover
Mm-hmm.
your attendance and pitch it. Recruiting 101, how to attract, engage, and retain a great team. Ooh, I love this workshop. Not because I don't think you should think of doing workshops just based on what you want out of your career.
Mm-hmm.
Do it based on who's going to be in the room. If you go to a recruiting workshop, who's going to be there? Recruiters,
Yes.
managers need
Walk in
to
and
recruit
people.
people who are possibly hiring right now. Yes, you need to be in that room, baby girl. I feel like I'm like the toddler and tiara stage mom right now. Smile, sweetie.
Doing
I'm
great.
like doing the choreo in the wings. Okay, are you on the exhibition page yet? The
Exhibition page.
like the workshops page where you can pick.
No, I'm still registering. There's so many things on
Lord of
here.
mercy.
Listen, woman. Listen. There's a lot.
Oh,
There's a
so
lot going on right here. What do you
slow.
mean? You're acting
My
like you
sessions are
did it right
usually
now.
45 minutes, and this is way over an hour already. So you need to fire in the belly. You're going to be an admin. You need to be like typing 99 words per minute. What are you like reading the questions
Yeah.
carefully? I don't do that.
Maximizing performance with your current spa software. Oof, the software needs help.
Ooh, the software one's going to be good. You know why? Because there's going to be full of spa admins, Anna. You got to go. Ooh, this is exciting.
Which one were you saying?
That's the one that you mentioned, 3:15 to 4:30, maximizing performance with your spa software.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's perfect because you need to be nerdy about shit that people don't want to be nerdy about. That's what's going to separate you.
I think it's worth it to just meet professionals, and I mean obviously the owners of the place, they want to like elevate the spa, so I think this is more as an investment. So I'll definitely bring this up to them. Hopefully they'll pay for it. But
Yeah.
I think they chose a good team. They just need to follow through and just like make sure we're where we should be. So, yeah.
I'm really excited. This is the kind of way that I love to end a coaching session, even if it is a little painful for me to sit here breathing while you breathe and type things into the internet and sign up for a thing. Because, I mean, it sounds simple, but were you planning to sign up for this conference today?
No.
Right? Like, it's like you've taken a big step. And these are like, I think we got so lucky with the timing because this is in a few months. This is exactly what you need. Like, it's almost even more important than, I mean, you're going to finish that healthcare admin degree.
Mm-hmm.
This is the year.
Mm-hmm. It's just costly. That's all I'll say.
But you're paying your own way. Yes, and
yes,
I'm so proud of you. But this is the kind of education that is going to specialize you. Like, you're in like a generic healthcare admin program, right?
Yeah.
This is like the continuing education where you're going to find your niche.
Yeah, I think I found my niche, and like,
yeah,
I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna take advantage of it. And I was like thinking, like, I'm gonna definitely put this on my LinkedIn.
This is also going to give you so much. Like, you're gonna. Ooh, I'm so excited for you. Are you excited? Why am I the only one who's like,
no,
buzzing?
I am.
I'm buzzing, babes.
I'm buzzing. I'm just a tad bit hungry. That's all I'll say.
Go.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I need
my.
to
But
eat.
I sent you home with chili and a box of cornbread,
I didn't
so
even have time to eat it yet.
I'm
It's
glad you
waiting for me
didn't
on that
because you probably would
counter.
have been belching on the show.
I would have been
I'm
like
telling you,
this
that
the whole
spice
time.
that chili got a kick. Okay, but when you come over, do I not feed you?
You feed me, and you somehow like I always have something packed on my way out.
Thank you so much for coming on Brown
It was a
Ambition.
pleasure, babes. It was
I'm
great.
excited. I wasn't sure what we were going to accomplish, but I do feel like we took the first step last week in terms of like getting you more comfortable with LinkedIn and connecting with folks. And now I'm like, okay, you're doing the thing that so many, especially women, know that they probably should be doing, but aren't doing it. And that is why they're staying stuck. And it's
Mm,
actually shoving yourself in the rooms, like buying your way in, getting an invite, whatever, in the rooms where opportunity can happen. You need to create there's so much of like the job search and your career. It's as much a strategy as it is putting yourself in a position where exciting opportunities can happen to you. Does that make sense? Like it's hard to describe, but there's an element of I don't know what the exact thing is going to be. But if I put myself in this room, things can happen.
yeah, you
Things
have to
may
make it
happen.
happen to make it happen. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. You got to put
Mm,
yourself in that space. And it sure ain't going to happen if you just stay at the front desk at the spa you're at now and never branch out
yeah,
and sort of dip a toe into the wider industry.
I agree.
Yeah. So I'm very proud. I'm so proud of you.
I'm
Did I
proud of
say that
you.
enough?
Thank you.
Do you feel proud of yourself? Like, do you feel it? Like, I have done a lot. Or
I
do you judge yourself harshly?
I judge myself harshly. Like I see the difference of how I was like 2 years ago, but like at this point, I was like, we gotta keep going. I really want to pat myself on the back and be like, you did it. So I'm just in transition, but I am very happy of how far I've come along. Mhm.
Just walking through your story with you, it just reminded me you've come so far, hon. Like, you've come so far. And I just need to get you to that. Yes, we're going to get you to once you get this, I feel like the next role is going to be so pivotal.
Mhm.
Once you get into the right title and like more of a higher level, more the admin side,
Mhm.
it's just it's an easy path. Not an easy path, but it's a path that you want to be on. And there's no way you're not going to continue to have that great career if you just like get on this next sort of,
I gotta get on the train.
you're so great though, and I'm so proud of you and I love you so much.
Love you too.